Hello, everyone. A very good morning and good evening to all of you. Hello, Shubhendra. Hello, Ramesh. Good evening. Hello, Rakesh. All right, so I see. Um, okay, so I see about 20, 15 guys. Okay, so what we'll do, let's wait for 2 more minutes and then we will start off with the session. Let's wait for people who have not yet joined and then we'll be good to start. Yeah, good morning and good evening, everyone. Yeah, thank you. Meanwhile, if you want to grab a cup of tea or coffee, this will be a good time. All right, so while we are waiting for others, what we will do is let's get started, and as and when they will come, they can join. By the way, my name is Sharik, and I will be your DevOps instructor for the next 12 days, right? It's a weekday course, so we'll be meeting for the next 12 days. All right, so just give me a quick minute. All right, so I hope you guys are excited as I am. This will be the first day, right? So today probably will not have any kind of live demo or lab session. However, we will talk about a lot of DevOps related things. Okay, we are not going into any of the tools which we are supposed to cover. We have Git, Jenkins, Docker, Nagios, and Puppet. These are the 5 tools which are supposed to cover, right? So, but today we're not going to start any tool. The first module is all about defining things, understanding concepts, and things like that. So that's what we will do. All right. So while we get started, I just need this information from you. Location and then about me, expectation, and email. So, as I told, my name is Sharik. I'll introduce with myself. Let's start with me and my current location. I'm based in Bangalore, India. I have 10 plus years of experience in IT industry. I have been working with MNCs like Intel, IBM, Citrix, a couple of them, and yeah, I mean, I started my career as a AS400 admin, working on mainframe, the black screen, and from there I moved on to various different roles. For example, VMware administration, and then Windows servers and Active Directory, Exchange, Linux. Past 5 years or so, or maybe a little more than 5 years, I've been working on DevOps and automation and cloud, all these interrelated technologies. And if you talk about the names, I have worked on AWS, I have worked on SoftLayer, I have worked on Citrix Cloud, and then in DevOps tools, I have fair experience on Chef, Puppet, Git, Ansible, Docker, Jenkins, and a lot of them actually. I mean, it's, list is really long, so I don't want to go into. So, what I need from you guys is this small introduction from each one of you. And again, yeah, this how we'll gonna work is this will be the one-way communication mostly because I'll be the instructor, so I'll be talking most of the times. Whatever you have to convey, you can convey through the questions pane through which we are communicating now. But let's say you want me to unmute you for any reason, please go ahead and tell me. I'll definitely do that for you. Don't worry, right? Let's say you have something to explain, or maybe there's too much to type, and rather you would talk instead of talking. Then just let me know through the questions pane, and I'll be happily unmuting you without any problem. It's good to share things, right? So I'll send this template. Make sure you respond in a single window. Don't respond one by one, like name one and then location one, like that. Please don't do that, right? Because it will be very difficult for me to then read out the entire things. Email I need from you because what we will be doing is actually, apart from the Edureka communication channel, whatever we have, I prefer to communicate through Slack as well. Okay. Earlier, I tried for WhatsApp groups, but again, everybody is not comfortable, sharing the telephone numbers and all. So Slack, and again, it's not always cumbersome. And WhatsApp nowadays it keeps on beeping, right? So Slack is a much better communication mode to go with, and I can share the documents I can share. And good thing is Slack channels I do not delete once the course ends. This channel will continue to work as long as you want it to be. Okay, so in fact, I have a couple of batches ended quite long back, but I still have those channels. As you can see, I create a channel for each one of them. I'll do the same for you as well. All right, so yeah, we'll do this. So I just need all these details. I think you have the template by now. Please send it across so that I can read out and capture your email addresses. Again, I see some people have already responded. Guys, please don't do that. Hi, Shri Krishna. Hello, Jagdish. Hello, Hemant. Hello, Deepak. Deepak is from Noida, working as Cable admin in OMCS. Okay. When you say about me, I don't need your company name. I mean, if you want to share, that's great. But what I'm more interested in, what you have been doing. What is your domain? Whether you're a developer or an admin or QA. What are the technologies you have worked upon? Those sort of things, right? And okay, so let me just capture the email addresses. Okay, I have, okay, responses are there already. Lakshman is from Chicago. Hello, Lakshman. BI developer, 3 years of experience. And I have your email ID as well. All right. So as a BI developer, Lakshman, what are the technologies you have worked upon? What are the tools? BI, when I said, are you working on Python or R or SAS? Which one it is? And I'm responding. Okay. Hello, Hemant. Hemant is from Atlanta, completed masters in USA and looking for a job. Expectation, good explanation with real time. Okay, great. Definitely you will have that, Hemant. Are you an absolute fresher or do you have some experience, Hemant? I have Prabhu from Boston, 9+ years experience at production and UAT support, Java, Unix, Oracle, WebSphere for banking. Expecting to change your career in DevOps. Yeah, that's there, of course. Okay, I have Jay, and again, Jay only has given me the name. Okay, I have two names. Is it Jay Nair or Jiju Nair? Which one it is? Rakesh is from Noida, who is a project manager, good experience in Linux, Unix, Oracle, supply chain, JDA, Hadoop, varied technologies. Huh? Great, Rakesh. Good to have you on board. Hope we will have a good time together for the next couple of days. By the way, what is your expectation, Rakesh, from you? You are a project manager, and how you relate yourself to DevOps, and what is your expectation from this course? From which place which can use this? Okay, I have Jagdish from Bangalore. Okay, so finally I have someone from Bangalore. I was wondering, nobody's from Bangalore. Welcome, Jagdish. All right. And Jagdish, I see that you have logged in as Edureka guest. Guys, please don't do that. I mean, because what happens is I see whatever name you use to log in. Okay, so when you log in as Edureka guest, it becomes difficult for me to, if you, and that happens when you don't give any name on when you're logging in. So please make sure you give your name at least the first name, right? It'll be easier for me to, interact with you if you do that. Okay. Big data. Okay, that was whose response? Lakshman's, I believe. Okay. Okay, so big data. So that would mean that working on Hadoop and related technologies, I believe. Okay, Sridhar has given me only the email ID. So welcome, Sridhar. But I was expecting more from you. At least your other details. Again, Sai Shruti has given me just the name. Hemant, no experience. Okay. Then you have to work harder than others, Hemant. Are you ready for that? Because typical audience, what I have is people who are in the experience bracket of, I mean, I have had people who are like 25+ years of experience. But again, typical is, I would say, 5+ years at least, 4 to 5 years plus. People are looking to change the domain, the technology, like that. So for you, since you don't have any hands-on experience, you don't have any real-time exposure, you might find it difficult to, relate to a lot of things. So you need to work a lot harder than others. So I hope you are ready for that. But I can assure you, whatever you put in your effort, that is going to pay off. Definitely. DevOps is one of the hottest field at the moment. It is like a hot cake. And if you are in, I mean, and again, that's like irrespective of which place you are in the world. Doesn't make a difference whether you are in India or US or Europe or, Middle East, Africa, anywhere you are like a hot cake. As simple as that. uh, DevOps, big data, cloud. These are the technologies which are like hotcake at the moment in the market. All right, so I guess I did not take a couple of names. I have Shai Sruti from Texas, completed masters, looking for job. Okay, so I believe Sai, you also are you experienced or you're also fresher like Hemant? What is the case with you? I have Sanjay from Phoenix, Arizona, technical consultant, 8+ years of experience. Welcome, Sanjay. So when you say technical consultant, which technology you are consulting? I have, okay, Sridhar has given his full details. I think I took your email already, right? I believe. Gauri Sethi. I think I have your email ID, Sridhar. From Hyderabad, working as project manager in UAG, now to DevOps from automation background. Mail ID is this, Mike. I want to move myself to DevOps going further. Yeah, definitely, definitely. I mean, see, I expect anybody who is joining this course, they want to move internally or externally in DevOps. So apart from that, if anything else you have. Okay, Shubhendu Singh. Hi, Shubhendu, from Mumbai. Okay, 7+ years experience in testing, project management, presently project management. I see you have given me two IDs. Which one you want me to add? The Gmail one or the Anchor? Okay, all right. So the one which is Gmail. So I'll take this one. You can see it on my screen as well already, I believe. Guys, just have some patience. Let me just finish with this because this is a one-time activity, and what it does, it helps us communicate in a better way with all of us together. So that's the reason I typically keep it. And okay, I have C Divya. Okay, C Divya, performance engineer in SAP Ariba. Okay, again, okay, Divya from Bangalore. Hello, Divya. I mean, this is the reason I wanted to get the response in a single window because it becomes very difficult for me to read if you send one line one by one. No, Balu Ramesh, I cannot miss you, man. Don't worry, I'll find you. Like to do more coding on DevOps, okay. Yeah, the reason is because you are sending me one-liners, so that is the reason I have missed you. Okay, but I still have you given your email ID, Ramesh? Okay, now I think I have the full response. You're from Bangalore, okay, great to know. Java Technical Architect from one of the companies in Bangalore. Need more focus on chef hands-on. But Balu, chef is not part of the course. I'm not sure if you're aware. We are covering puppet here, not chef. Chef is covered separately. It's like a self-paced course you have. The live instructor course covers puppet, not chef. I just want to make sure that you have the right expectations here. But what I can assure you is if you learn puppet and if you learn puppet properly, then chef will not be a big deal at all. Don't worry. So, okay. Shubhendra Singh, okay. Please add my email ID, but I've already added, I believe. Did I miss your email ID by any chance? Ankur. I think I've taken, right? Ankur K. Krish Singh at gmail.com. Uh, yeah. Yes, Jiju. Okay. Should I call you Jiju or Jay? You have two names, I believe. Uh, Jay is from Washington, project manager. Expectation is to obtain knowledge to manage DevOps initiatives. Okay, I understand. So I think we have a couple of project managers already. I think two or three of you told me. Jay, okay, sure. All right. So I think Millie Macvan. Okay, let me just check. Millie. Okay, Millie is from Toronto, Canada. Welcome, Millie, to Edureka, and welcome to DevOps. Okay, and 8+ years of experience in customer services. Expect to understand DevOps thoroughly. After this course, I want to switch my career in IT now. Okay, so do you have a completely non-IT experience, Millie? Alright, so I believe I have taken everyone. Okay, Sakar Upadhyay. Uh, Hello, Sakar. Sakar is from Bangalore, 10+ years of experience in Windows, VMware, data center. Okay, so I see your profile or your skill set is pretty much similar to mine. I used to do all those things a couple of years back. Okay. Millie, then, I mean, okay, we can do that definitely. Oh, sorry, Krishna. Sri Krishna from Hyderabad, 14+ years of experience in IT. ITES, last worked as tech manager, system admin, agile scrum. Okay, so you have a lot of things under your belt. Six Sigma certifications. Okay, learning new practices for better opportunities in DevOps from implementation in agile projects. Yes, DevOps is a very close relationship with agile, Krishna. In fact, in one of my previous companies as a DevOps engineer, I used to follow Scrum for our day-to-day activities. Praveen, have you put it somewhere? Praveen Gully. Let me see. Okay, I think I found you. No, problem is again you have given multiple lines. Can see your email ID. Yes. Let me take it first because this is more important. Okay, and okay, Praveen, I saw one more input from Columbus, Ohio, automation test lead, 10 plus years of experience. Expectation is to learn DevOps culture, difference in agiles and DevOps, clear understanding in CI, CD, CM tools, and DevOps confidence. Sure, Praveen, that is the least which we will do. You will have more than that, definitely, I can assure you. All right, so I have, I hope I have captured everyone's email ID. I see Surekha. Hello, Sureka. I can see only your email ID. I don't see. Okay, I see. Yeah. Sureka is from Hyderabad, working as a Java developer for 4 years, a DevOps engineer for 1.5 years. Okay. So as DevOps engineer, Sureka, what all you have been doing? Okay. Moreno looks like. Just give me a sec. All right. So what I'll do? Just give me a quick minute. I hope. Okay, we still have time. So okay, let's wrap it up in the next 5 minutes, and then we will start off. I just need to. Okay. Okay. Wait, before this, I need to create a new channel for you, which I did not. Just give me a sec, guys. All right, so since we're about to end, all right, so now I can invite people. So this is the main channel through which we will be communicating, DevOps Jan 29. This is the main channel for all the course related communication. DevOps is a generic channel which I created where I collaborate with, I mean, this is a very generic channel for all of the people. So this is like post the course completes, you can still continue to talk on this channel. And AWS is for AWS, as you can understand. All right, so it looks like I have captured. Let me know if. Okay, guys, Moreno and Surekha, could you please check your email IDs? Okay, no, your email IDs are fine. All right, looks like I have reached my limit. Okay, I need to check on that. All right. All right, so people who have left, don't worry. I'll check it out and I'll fix the issue, whatever it is. Meanwhile, just let me know if I have missed anyone so far from the course. Okay, Sai, I see. Pramod, I'm sorry if I have missed you. Okay, Pramod is from Austin, Texas to learn DevOps thoroughly. And Pramod, okay, I see your email ID now. I'll take it, but probably I'll not be able to send the invite right away. I need to check out what exactly is wrong, and I'll see what I can do. No problem. Okay. I have okay. I have Kim Otebrook. I hope I was able to pronounce your name correctly. From Bratislava, Europe, and junior DevOps engineer with IT application. Understanding is to expectation is to grasp DevOps practices and tools while getting real hands-on experience. Email. Let me take. Okay. So I'll just put a check mark where I have people who have not added. I think Morana was not able to add, and Surekha I could not add, I believe. Surekha, where are you? Oh, okay, okay. Last two IDs. All right, guys. So I think yes, Kim. I have your details now, and welcome to DevOps. Welcome to Edureka. Just check. I have your email ID on the screen. I hope it is correct. I just copied it. I'll add you all of you to Slack channel later on. I'll just check out what is there, what is the problem. Looks like some kind of account limit I have reached, so I need to fix it. All right. So once again, welcome guys. Welcome to Edureka and welcome to the DevOps course. Um, so let's get started. Yes, and a very big thank you for choosing us. Today we are starting our first lecture, and as we have spoken, this is not any hands-on to any of the tools yet. That we will start from module 2. Module 1 is all about understanding DevOps, trying to understand why we should learn some of the definitions to understand. It's more like a doubt clearing session and those sort of things. And I'll give you a couple of additional materials as well, which you can go through, and this will give you more clarity on that. Okay, looks like Deepak has joined Slack. Hello, Deepak. All right, so a lot of people, if that is the case. All right, so this is how the overall course looks like for the next 8 days. No, sorry, not 12 days, because what happens is we have typically this course is divided into 8 modules to be taken, one module every single day from weekend perspective. Now, since we are a weekday batch, what we are going to do, we are going to cover these 8 modules in the next 12 days because we have 2 hours each day instead of 3. And so that is the reason what we will do. We will try to finish 2 modules in 3 days. That's how we'll keep pace. Okay. Some modules are lengthier, some are shorter. So it might take for one module to take more time than the other. But don't worry. We will be on track and we will finish on time, and we will cover all the topics which are part of the agenda and a lot more. Right. So what we have is we have the first module is all about DevOps essentials. Then we have in the second module, we get an introduction to Git as a source code management tool, and then Jenkins, which is a continuous integration tool. Then we will move on to third module, which is all about Jenkins again. In this module, we will create a CI/CD pipeline with the help of Jenkins. Okay. And then we'll talk a lot about Jenkins security, Jenkins plugins, and various aspects of Jenkins as a tool. Module 4 and 5 is or are dedicated to Docker. Module 4 will introduce us to Docker. We'll talk about what exactly Docker is all about, what is containerization in general, and then we will move specifically to Docker. Okay. We will speak about Docker architecture, Docker images, containers, and all those things. In module 5 in Docker, we have 3 specific topics to be covered. First one is Docker volumes. The second one is Docker networking. And the third topic is something known as Docker files. Docker files is a very interesting topic, and that is how basically you automate how things work in Docker. And that is one of the, I would say, most important aspects if you want to work, if you want to move your career in DevOps, and within DevOps, if you want to become a Docker engineer, then Docker file is of paramount importance to you. Okay. Module 6 and 7 dedicated to configuration management tool called Puppet. Now, for the people who are not aware, Puppet is one of the configuration management tools, and the other popular tools are Ansible and Chef and SaltStack, Blade Logic, CF Engine. A lot of them are there. But if you talk about the top 3, or rather the 3 most popular tools, then you have Puppet, Chef, and Ansible. And good for you is that all the 3 modules are available as part of your curriculum. Puppet is part of this current course where you have live instructor classes. And let me just open another window to show you. This one, if you see, 1 to 8 is your standard modules, which we will be covering during the classroom sessions. This cap one, or the hat one, is actually your project, which you're supposed to complete after you end the course. And then if you see here, this one is a Chef. You have recorded videos, and then you have presentations, which has been covered in the classroom, and then quizzes and assignments and projects and everything. So you have enough material to get a very good heads up on Chef. And similarly, in similar fashion, you have videos and assignments and presentations available for Ansible as well. Right. And the last one, you have a compiled list of DevOps interview questions. And what we have done is we have given you interview questions topic wise. So what you can do is once you complete Git, you can check out all these Git interview questions. Once you complete Jenkins, you can try and solve all the Jenkins interview questions, and so on. Right. Just give me a sec. I think I have a couple of questions. Kubernetes is a manager, Pramod. What Kubernetes does is it helps you create Docker clusters. I'm not sure if you're familiar with VMware vCenter. If you think about individual hosts and machines as Docker, then vCenter is Kubernetes. And Kubernetes is one of the more popular Docker cluster managers. You have Kubernetes, you have Docker Swarm, you have Apache Mesosphere, you have now you have Azure, and even in AWS you have something called AWS ECS, Elastic Container Systems. So all these are the tools and basically the cluster managers which help you manage thousands of Docker containers. Vidya, we're not covering Maven in detail. However, as part of the third module where we are talking about build and test automation, right? There we have a brief introduction to Maven, and we will talk about pom.xml file, and we will in general see how we automate a Java-based project. So the example which we have, the lab example, is a Java-based project, and it uses Maven as the build tool, and we automate the whole thing on Jenkins platform. That's what we will be doing. Okay, so we do have Maven, but not exactly to a very large extent. All right, but if you are interested in Maven, what I can do is I can share some good references to you in the form of PDFs and web links, which will help you in understanding Maven a lot more. In fact, that I will be doing any which ways for all the topics, because see, we are talking about taking from very basic to intermediate level. Like my expectation from this course perspective, my expectation is that you have no clue about Git, Jenkins, Puppet, and all these tools, right? We will be starting from scratch. and then we will be taking you to a level where you can do things on your own on all of these tools, right? uh, and then what I will be doing is I'll give you enough references and practice enough things to practice that you will become expert on your own. And any which ways you have assignments and all these things to be work upon. So you just go along with the course, and you should be fine at the end of it, right? Gradle unfortunately is not there, Ramesh, because again, I mean, if you talk about that, then there is no limit of build tools. We have Ant, Maven, Gradle, MS Build, Rakefile, Makefile, right? Because we are talking about thousands of different types of tools and technologies, so it's not possible to cover every one of them, right? So, but yes, I mean, if I find again Gradle, I think I have some good references. I'll try to give it to you so that you can understand it, right? See, the idea is to become what we call in DevOps terminologies as tool agnostic, so that you're not dependent on tools. And there is a very specific reason to it. Let me show you that actually before we kind of move forward. Just give me a sec. Can everybody see my screen? Okay, it's loading, little slow. All right, and guys, just one thing. Sometimes there is a problem. It might be a problem with the network, or sometimes recent times my laptop is giving me problems, it's crashing. If it ever happens that I'm not talking, or I'm just I just went unresponsive, just wait for maybe a minute or two. I'll be back as soon as possible, because what I have to do in that situations, those situations, that I have to just log off and log in again, and sometimes I have to just restart my laptop. I mean, if it ever happens, just so you know, right? So don't panic, just be there. It'll hardly take me a minute or two to come back. All right, so now since you can see my screen, anybody's aware of this, what I'm showing you guys? Periodic table, that's correct, Krishna. That's the heading of the topic. But periodic table of what? Do you see here potassium, calcium, argon, all these things? Do you see? What do you see on a screen? Can anybody make out just by looking at it at least? What do you think it's going on? Let me see if I can. Okay, so it's not. Okay, I think I can maximize it. I hope it is more clearer now. Is it clear to all of you now? I think you should be able to see it now, right? DevOps periodic table, right? That's true. Combination of usage, okay. Yep. So what it is doing it, first of all, this is done by this company called Xavier Labs. This is one of the, I would say, pioneer companies when it comes to DevOps tools and technologies. They are one of the consultants. What they do is, let's say you are a company and you want to move to DevOps, some of your projects or all of your projects, then this is the company which helps you doing that. And they're quite good at that. What they have done is they have come up with a list of tools and technologies. They have tried to create, in fact, they have done a good job at that. They have created a periodic table of DevOps. What it means is that they have kind of categorized. So if you see here on your extreme left, the yellow ones, the yellow tiles, all these tools are source code management tools. Okay. Now, I mean, we have actually, let's go back. We have multiple categories of tools in DevOps. DevOps is not a single tool or a single technology. It especially important for the people who are completely new to DevOps. We have various categories, okay, and we have something called source code management. Then we have continuous integration. Then we have configuration management. Then we have containerization tools, monitoring tools, right? So these are different categories, right? Then we have cloud technologies, we have deployment tools, and various tools. These are some of the major categories. We are kind of most important categories, you can say, without which you cannot achieve DevOps at all. I mean, these are those categories. But you do have a lot of small categories otherwise as well. So if you see here, the extreme left is your all the source code management tools. You have Git, Bitbucket, GitLab, Subversion, Mercurial, all these, right? If you talk about the orange ones, you have database management tools, so Liquidbase, Redgate, DBMastro, IDERA. So all these are and by the way, these are not NoSQL. These are the tools which help you manage things from the database perspective. Then we have the build tools. If you see the green color, all these are if you see Maven, Gradle, and Broccoli, CMake, Make, Rake, MS Build, Packer. So depending on which language you're on, you have a build tool for each one of them. And then we have this orange categories for testing tools. So you have Fitness, Selenium, QUnit, Cucumber, right? JMeter, JUnit, testing, Karma, Mocha. All these tools are there, right? Then we have repository management. So we have Docker Hub, NPM, Artifactory, Nexus, right, where you put your artifacts on these tools. So Artifactory and Nexus are some of the most popular tools out there. The blue ones are all CI tools, right? Jenkins happens to be the most popular one, of course, but you do have a lot of other tools as well. So you have Bamboo, Travis CI, Circle CI, Cruise Control, Shippable. All these tools help you do continuous integration. And I believe after Jenkins, I think the second most popular tool would be TeamCity, which I have seen. Bamboo used to be there, but in recent times, I think TeamCity has become very popular. So, and all these tools, if you see, they are deployment automation tools. So if you have Capistrano, Rundeck, Octopus Deploy, Code Deploy, all these tools. Similarly, the gray ones are the configuration management. So Chef, Puppet, Ansible, Salt, Vagrant, and there's a combination of configuration management as well as provisioning. So if you see Terraform and Vagrant, they are the configuration provisioning tools. Rest all are configuration management tools. And then we have containerization. So Docker, Rocket, Miso, Swarm, all these are containerization technologies. The extreme right lists the cloud technology providers. So we have Amazon right at the top. Then we have Azure from Microsoft, Google Cloud, Rackspace, OpenStack, Heroku, OpenShift. Right, so these are the various technologies which are there. And the reason I wanted to show you this is because to give you two things, to make you understand how many tools and technologies are there and what are the broad categories. So whenever, if you have free time, whenever you get time, just go ahead and check out these tools, like what exactly is SCM, what exactly is CI, what exactly is release management. So you'll get to know a lot of things from this as well. Apart from this, what I wanted to show you is, since you have so many tools and technologies, it's impossible to learn all of them in a single lifetime, right? So don't bother doing that. Okay. Continuous, when you mention a CD, Pramod, what exactly you're talking about? What do you refer to when you say CD? It's Xavier Labs, Praveen. Actually, when you go to Google and just type DevOps periodic table, the first link will be this tool itself. Or else, let me share it. Let's this be the first link on our Slack channel. Right, so I think everybody will have that now. Continuous deployment, okay. So when you say continuous deployment, of course, we're talking about the deployment automation, right, Pramod? Right. So when we say deployment automation, we are basically referring to the tools which are in green. All these tools help you do deployment automation. So actually, I mean, it will be too early to answer your question, but we have a combination of CI and CD tool, right? So all these tools, you integrate tools like Rundeck or Octopus Deploy or Code Deploy to any of the continuous integration tools like Jenkins or TeamCity or Bamboo or any one of them. That's how you achieve continuous deployment or continuous delivery. Does that answer the question, at least partially? No, Deepak, there is no flow as such. It's just different categories of tools. There is no flow as such here. I mean, they have put one extreme is source code management, one extreme is cloud tools, but I don't think there is any sequence or pattern. Below again, there will be a set of tools, I believe. You have, okay, these are the release management tools. If you see here, see whatever tools you highlight, you will get to know. If you click here, just match the color over here at the top. So if you see this purple one, this is the release management tools, if I'm not wrong. Yeah, so Urban Code Release, Excel Release. Similarly, the light blue colored, if you see here, they are collaboration tools. In fact, Slack should be there in the list, if I'm not wrong. Yeah. So HipChat, Slack, these are the collaboration, how you collaborate with other Jira, different teams, how they should have some common platform on which they are there, right? So there's a one. If you take, this is security, right? So security, you have Tripwire and Fortify, Snort. Fortify, if I'm not wrong, this is one of the firewall technologies which gives you. Then if you see this kind of parrot green, I don't know which green it is, you have this logging tools. So Splunk and Sumo Logic, Logstash, Log Entries, these are all logging tools. And similarly, if you come to the very dark gray, these are your BIN monitoring tools. So if you see here, New Relic and Dynatrace and Kibana, these are your basically analysis tools, log analysis and APM tools, you can call them. Nagios and Datadog, and Zabbix, they are like out and out monitoring tools. So you can just check out the color coding here and you can find out more. And one more thing is there, anything, if you can actually click over here. So it will highlight all those things. All these are clickable links. So if you see here, since I clicked on open source, it has given me the list of all the open source tools, and you can go into each tool and learn a lot more about them, at least the basic idea you can have. Similarly, if you want to check out all the configuration management tools, you can just click on the link and it will give you the list of configuration management provision tools. So all those tools will be right here. So spend some time. What my suggestion would be, spend some time on this website, just read through things and check out what all you have here. It's a very good informative website. Anyways, I'll give you a list of websites and blogs to be followed, so don't worry, but this is a very good place to start with. Praveen has a question. New to Slack, do I need to install Slack to view everything you are typing? Actually, Praveen, what you need to do, no, okay, what I'm typing is Slack. Slack gives you multiple options. You can have just go to slack.com and you can browser, on the browser itself you can get to see everything. On Mac and on Windows 10 you have an option of app as well. You have a Slack app. You can download the Slack app for your iOS or Android as well. So multiple options, whichever suits you. And let me tell you, it's very easy tool to use and very user friendly tool to use. So don't worry, just register. I have sent you the link. Just go ahead and it's as simple as creating a new email ID for yourself. Okay, just do that and you'll be good to go. Don't worry. Yes, Rakesh, definitely. Rakesh is telling that means different process of project. We have different automation tools. Yes. In fact, your choice of tools is highly influenced by the kind of projects you have. For example, people who are working on Java, there you will find the most popular source code management tool is SVN, and the most popular CI tool is Jenkins. If you're on .NET based projects, then you will find that TeamCity is the tool of choice for continuous integration, and TFS is one of the tools which .NET developers prefer to work a lot upon, right? So again, that definitely depends. But good thing is, the good news is that if you know one of these tools, let's say you know Jenkins properly, okay, and you understand the continuous integration and all those things, it will be easy for you to later on, and let's say the requirement is to learn TeamCity for some or the other reason. It will not be very difficult for you to learn TeamCity. You just need a couple of days to understand that. Similarly, let's say you are already expert in Puppet and the requirement is to work on Chef. So you'll not face any problem because Puppet and Chef, I would say if you know Puppet full, you already know half of Chef, because the concepts and the technologies and the approach how they do things, it's pretty similar to each other. Of course, they are different as well. There are differences, but you can very easily relate to them once you understand one language properly. One tool properly. Uh, other tool, you can relate to things. Okay, I do this way. This is how I do in Puppet. This is how I should do in Chef. Like that, it will be very easy for you to relate. If you know SVN already, you already know a lot of things about Git already. You just need to make yourself comfortable with the interface, with the commands, if it is a command line tool, and those sort of things. Um, what is this tool used for, Ramesh? Drone? I've not heard of it actually, so just curious. Sridhar asking, what is the RAM required for all these tools to get installed? I mean, the tools which we are covering, Sridhar. In fact, let me give you the list of tools as well, which we are covering as part of the course, just so that we are on the same page. So if we go by the category, uh, we have Git as our source code management tool. We have Jenkins as our continuous integration tool. We have Puppet as our configuration management. For containerization, we have Docker, and for monitoring, we have Nagios. These are the five. Excuse me. These are the five tools which we are covering as part of our classroom. And for all these, the question was, I believe, that what is the requirement, right, in terms of resources. So that will depend heavily on what kind of uh, you know uh, tool you're using. So in you have something called Edureka virtual machine, which you are supposed to use. You can definitely use that. Let me show you that as well. So if you go to your Edureka, this is the screen pretty similar, which you will be getting as well, I believe. So if you just go at the first one, before you have module one, before that, okay, Edureka DevOps VM installation. This is the guide which you get, and this helps you download two machines and install them. Prerequisite is to have a virtual box installed on your machine, and don't worry if you don't know about all these things. This guide is about, I think, 16 or 17 pages long, and it contains all the instructions step by step with the screenshots. Okay, so even if you have not done this ever before, you should be able to do it absolutely fine. Okay, and if you are facing any problem, let's say you have issues while doing that, what you can do is you can go to first thing is support at edureka.co. I believe you will have that email ID already, or else you can find the number on the website. I think if you click on support, you will get the numbers, I believe. Let me just check. So yeah, so you can submit it through here, or you can this is one of the ways you can directly create a ticket and they will respond to you, this Edureka backend team. And good thing is they're available 24/7. You can put it here, or you can mail to that email ID, edureka support at edureka.co, or you can call on any of these numbers. So if you are in India, you can call on this number, which is below. If you're anywhere else in the world, you can call on this number, which is a toll-free number. For USA, it is toll-free. I think for others, it charges locally or something. I'm not really sure. You can do that. If you have any confusion, just type an email or create a ticket, and things should be fine. So yeah, what I was telling is that for that you have, I think I would say about 4 GB plus should be good enough in terms of RAM. Hard disk, I think you will need about 15-20 GB for this whole course at max. So make sure you have that much space in your laptop or desktop. You need a broadband connection for all these live classes and everything. Otherwise, you might face networking issues and in between intermittent connectivity issues and all. So make sure you have at least 2 Mbps and above internet speed. I believe that should be good enough for the course. I think, yeah, I mean that's the bare minimum requirement, I believe. That should be good enough. Okay. Yes, Lakshman, definitely you can use Mac. I am actually on Mac, so don't worry. I mean, it's kind of platform agnostic. You don't need to worry. All these things you can, whether you are using a Windows laptop or a Mac or a Linux laptop, all of them will be supported here. So don't worry. Any laptop you have, you can install VirtualBox, and the lab. They are supported for all the you know versions of, or on the different OS flavors also. So not to worry. All right. So that was about the course and about the the what exactly your expectation should be from the course. And Yeah, we have the instructor panel. We have multiple instructors, so you will find a lot of them. One important thing to, I'm not sure if you're aware, is this. When you go to the course curriculum, you have this is the course content tab where you get all the course content you have. If you click over here, you will get the module presentation as well. Then you have quizzes and assignments. Then you have a couple of blog articles, right? So blog articles for each topic wise, right? So since this is the DevOps essentials, you have all the topics related to DevOps. Not only blog articles, but you have a couple of video recording links as well. They might be within Edureka or outside Edureka as well, but most of them are, I believe, the Edureka produced videos are there, right? So idea is that you, apart from the classes which you are obviously attending, you should go through all of them as well, because they are also very good information. Now, why we have done this is because, see, this is a course about 24 hours. It's not possible to teach you everything about Jenkins in 2 hours or 3 hours time, right? It's almost impossible. It's not possible at all. And that's true for each and every tool. I think that probably the smallest tool which we are covering is Git. And if you want to learn Git in totality, then I would say Git itself should take 24 hours at least, because every tool is a lot in depth when you want to go inside, right? So idea is to give you enough confidence and enough learning so that you can learn on your own. That is the primary idea here. And whatever we cannot put inside the course, inside these 2 hours or 3 hours content, we have given you separately in the form of blog articles, in the form of video tutorials. What my expectation would be that whenever you get time, again, this is a weekday class, so it will be like on a daily basis. So you need to utilize your weekend timings very wisely. So my expectation would be that whenever you get time, you go through all these blogs and videos, and yeah, and that would take typically, I would say, 1 to 2 hours to complete all these blog articles and videos, and come up with your questions. Ask me questions, not only from what we are covering here, but from any of the blog articles as well. So for that topic, I'm expecting any questions you can ask me, right? And not only from the topic, in fact, you can generally ask me anything in terms of DevOps or cloud, or how things work here, right? And I'll be more than happy to provide you with an answer if I know already. Otherwise, I'll try to find out the answer and will let you know, definitely. Yeah, so actually, yeah, I forgot to mention that. So this is one thing. One thing which is missing here at the moment is the recordings. So as you're aware, this all the sessions are getting recorded. So whatever we are going through for the 2 hour duration each day, the recordings will be available here. So once the class ends, typically you will get the recording in the next 4 to 6 hours. So let's say we are India timing, we are meeting at night, 8:30 to 10:30. So before you get up in the morning, I think by 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning, you will have the videos available on your portal, right? So you will have a link here. You will have one more tab coming up, and it will talk about video recording, and you can just click on view. You will get to see them. That is one thing. And then apart from that, you have something called pre-recorded classes, right? Now this, what we have done is we have taken recording from a previous session which is already completed from a different instructor. Okay, so what we have done, let's say because you are in my batch, this recording will not be from any of my batches. It will be some other instructor. Now it can be Sriram, it can be Arun, it can be Amir, Anyone can be, it can be, but it will not be me, that's for sure. Okay. Idea is to give you a different perspective of the course. Any which ways, we are following the same content, we are following the same timings, whatever course content, it is the same, but still every single person has a different style of teaching. We follow different methodologies to teach. So what essentially the target is to give you a good perspective or a different perspective of the same topic. That's the idea here, right? So make good use of these as well. Try to go through these recordings at least once if possible, right? All of them. And then you have all these modules are there. Any kind of notification, you will get it right at the top if at this place. And then all the things, I think rest of the things are self-explanatory. I don't need to explain that to you. So that was about the Edureka live classes. And yeah, you have 24 by 7 technical support. You have course content and class recordings. These are available to you for lifetime. It's not that it is only 1 month or 1 year or something. So let's say you come back, you after a couple of months of course completion, you want to brush your skills again on, maybe you want to check out something again on configuration management, or let's say CI or Jenkins or something. You can just come back and you can go through this the recordings again. You can try the assignments again, you can do the project again. So you can do a refresher whenever you feel like. And then yes, you have module-wise assessments. So what happens is after every topic, we have a couple of assignments to be completed. Quizzes and assignments are there after each topic. And then finally, you have one capstone project work, which is like whatever we have completed, we would have completed by then. It comprises of all those technologies. So primarily, you will be judged upon Jenkins and Puppet and Docker and Git, all these things as a combination. And this project is mandatory to get your certifications. If you don't provide this project work, you will not get this certificate. Okay. And by the way, this is a verifiable certificate, which means that your employers or your prospective employers, they can verify that certificate just by going at edureka.co/certificate and giving your unique candidate ID. So it cannot be copied as well. That's an important bit. Yes, Ashwin, it will be lifelong, right? So you have lifetime availability of the not only videos, but videos and the other contents. You have presentations. Only restriction is, I believe, you cannot download them. All these things you can download only assignments and projects, I believe. The presentations and the videos, you cannot download them. You have to see them online. One good thing what I can suggest is use the Android or the iOS apps, because there you have an option of saving them offline. So you can keep them offline whenever you have time. Maybe when you're traveling to office or coming back to office, if you're using cabs or trains or something, you can use and you can watch these videos or video recordings whenever you get time. That will be a good idea. Yes, Ashwin. Ashwin has a very good point. He's telling, is it required to learn at least one tool from each category to identify ourselves as DevOps engineer? What is the industry expectation on this? That's a very good point, and that's correct, Ashwin. As we spoke initially, as we discussed initially, you are not expected to know all the tools in DevOps, but try to learn at least one tool from each technology stack or from each category. That's very important, because you're supposed to know source code management, you're supposed to know configuration management, you're supposed to know how continuous integration works and all these things. So of course, the expectation is to know at least one single tool, because what happens, as I said, if you know one tool, you can easily switch to other tool if needed. But if you don't know any of the tools at all, let's say you don't know any tool in continuous integration, then it will be a challenge. You first need to learn it properly, right? So that is the reason. Learning one tool, yes, you should do that. And yeah, this is the first module which we are going through at the moment. What we are going to learn is why DevOps, what is DevOps, DevOps market trends, and skill set of a DevOps engineer. Then delivery pipeline we'll talk about, and then finally we'll talk about the DevOps ecosystem and Edureka use case. All right. So before we deep dive, so this is the okay. So we are starting with the content, the actual DevOps content. But before we do that, okay, Sai Krishna has a question. Is there a procedure in selecting the tool in the combination? No procedure. It's more like your requirement. I gave you some examples, Krishna, right? For example, as I said, Jenkins is extremely popular with the people who are doing Java development because Jenkins itself is written in Java. So it's very easy to work with that. And people prefer it. People kind of feel comfortable since it's in the same language. Similarly, for example, TeamCity, as I said, TeamCity and TFS combination, that is very popular among the .NET developers. Chef Puppet, if you talk about configuration management, Chef and Puppet are written in Ruby, and SaltStack and Ansible, they are written in Python. So because of that reason, what happens if you're a Python developer, you are inclined more towards Ansible and SaltStack. However, if you're a Ruby developer, you are more inclined towards Puppet and Chef. So that's just some of the things why you choose. There is no procedure as such. Okay. So yeah, what we are going to do is we'll take a small break. Um, so 9:36 is about 1 hour we have completed. So every day at this point in time, we'll take maybe about 10 minutes break, and then we will continue with our session, right? And meanwhile, if you have any questions, any concerns, please post that in the questions pane, and once I'm back, I'll take it up. Yeah. All right, so 9:37 by my laptop. So 9:47, we'll meet back, and just check your watches, just check your clocks, and just add 10 minutes to it, and we will be back by then. Right? So let's meet in about 10 minutes. Thank you. All right, hello everyone. Welcome back. Okay, I see a couple of guys have their hands raised. Surekha, Subendra, Divya, do you have anything to ask? I see you have raised your hands. Okay, Prabhu can't see a screen. Yeah, because we were on break. Probably you're not paying attention. We went on a break for about 10 minutes, and we are back now. Yep. Uh, yes, Deepak. Thank you. I'm back as well. All right. So let's get started with the DevOps concepts and why should we learn it, right? So this is an example of traditional development model. Now, when we speak about that, we are talking about waterfall model here. Okay, and as you know, waterfall model has some linear steps like requirement gathering, system design, system implementation. Even if you have not worked on it, I'm pretty sure you have read about it in your engineering classes or computer science classes, right? Uh, okay, Mohan, definitely. If you're familiar with Vagrant, you can definitely use that because I'm also using Vagrant. I typically don't use Edureka VMs because of being GUI based operating systems, they are pretty heavy on your laptop. So if you use Vagrant and if you're familiar with Vagrant, you're welcome to do that. In fact, not only that, anybody see Edureka VMs have been provided to you for your ease of use, but that does not there is not an obligation to use Edureka VMs. Whatever means you have, let's say you are using Vagrant, or let's say you're using VirtualBox or VMware Workstation, or let's say you have access to cloud like Azure or AWS. You're welcome to use those. Idea is to have two different machines, primarily Linux, because we are working most 100% on Linux. We are not touching Windows here. Okay, so you can use any one of them. It's completely up to you. Only advantage with Edureka VM you will get is that all the tools are pre-installed on those. So people who are new to these things, not comfortable on Linux or maybe not comfortable on any of these tools with the installation, you can use Edureka VM till the time you become comfortable with all the tools and technologies, right? And then you can because see, idea is you should be comfortable with the installation and configuration as well. So that is something which you should do in your local lab as well. Okay. So as I said, the bare minimum thing is we need to have two Linux machines. Only command line is enough. We don't need the GUI. And these machines should have some static IP. Okay, it can be a private IP, it can be a public IP. If you have a public IP, you're welcome to use. I typically use private IPs. Two different machines talking to each other, bare minimum. If you have 3 or 4 machines, actually it's better. You can simulate a lot more scenarios. But two Linux machines with static IPs, that's the bare minimum requirement. I did not get it, Deepak. I'm talking about virtual machines. You need two Linux virtual machines which you need to create. If you're using your own lab, I mean, right? If you don't want to use Edureka virtual machines. Does it clarify your doubt? Okay. Okay, so coming back, we have been working with the waterfall model for quite some time, and I think in the 90s, this was a predominant model for software development. However, somewhere in early 2000s, like 2002 or 3, Agile came into picture. And when Agile came, it actually replaced waterfall almost immediately. I mean, within a couple of years, it became very popular, extremely popular. Okay, I see a lot of hands raised. Let me just lower them. Guys, if you have anything to say, please do say. No need to raise the hand actually, because you can directly post your questions, right? Prasad, Rakesh, Shubhendra, Divya, I see all of you have raised your hands. Pramod, if you have anything to say, please go ahead and type it in the questions pane. I will take it up, don't worry. And if it is something which requires a lot of typing, just let me know. I'll unmute you and then we can discuss. No need to type very lengthy questions. It's just, to maintain the decorum of the class, because if everybody's unmute, it becomes a chaos. Okay, so yeah, as I said, so 2000, somewhere early 2000, Agile was started, and within a couple of years, it became extremely popular because of its approach, and it made the development process extremely fast compared to waterfall. Just to give you an idea, in waterfall model, for a software delivery, 6 months to 9 months was the standard time. Okay, and it was actually considerably fast. It was considered as faster delivery time when you talk about 6 months, right? In agile, that it completely changed, and then what happened was a delivery started happening in on a weekly basis. That's how fast it became. DevOps has changed that to such an extent that nowadays companies are deploying their softwares on a daily basis multiple times in a single day, and they are deploying softwares during business hours in such a way that there is no application downtime as well, right? So that's possible only because of the DevOps practices as we know them today. Now, if you look at the pie chart which is given here on your screen, enterprise adoption of DevOps. If you see here, 21% adopting DevOps, 31% adopting DevOps for specific business units, 29% for specific projects or specific teams. Only 12% say that not adopting DevOps, and 7% say don't know. Okay, now this report, or this this particular statistics has been taken from 2016, a report of RightScale. RightScale is again a company which gives you all these reports and statistics about the IT industry and the trends and all those things. Of course, by now it would have changed, and I'm pretty sure the companies who said not adopting and who said don't know, the companies are already closed, or they have adopted, or they are trying to adopt DevOps. Because in IT industry, it's not the big fish which eats the small fish. What happens is it's the fast fish which eats the slow fish. Yes, Krishna, this is 1 year old. I mean, 2018 report is yet to come for all of these. In fact, one thing which I'll share with you. Let me just take it down. What are things I'm supposed to give you? I'll share one puppet. Sorry. This is one report which will be very important, especially for the people who are in senior brackets. I remember a couple of project managers. For all of you, this report is very important because this gives you an idea into how exactly the DevOps trends are going on. What are the ROIs you're going to get if you implement DevOps and things like that. Okay. So it is very important for especially for the senior people. It's equally good for all of you, but for senior people who are in the leadership roles and who are driving the projects, who are the decision makers, for you guys, it's extremely important to go through this report. I'll send you a couple of them, and then you can just go through them. Each report is about 40-50 pages. I'll send you probably last 2 or 3 reports, and rest you can download from the internet. Right, that's very important. Okay, I have an interesting question from Ashwin. If all companies have adopted DevOps once, okay, let's say the whole world has implemented DevOps in their projects or companies and everything, will there be any scope for DevOps engineers? Interesting question. See, first of all, that itself is going to take a couple of years. I mean, at the pace which it is going, DevOps has been popularized immensely in the last 2 3 years, but it has been around for the last 10 years at least. Okay. Only thing is, initially we did not have a name for it. Today we are talking about continuous integration. We are talking about continuous delivery and things like that. But all these practices have already being are already being practiced by the companies for the past 10 15 years at least. Okay. Companies like Google, companies like Rackspace, Amazon, Netflix, Etsy, all these companies, they have been doing this for the past 10 15 years. Okay. But what has happened is, initially, if I tell you about 5 years back, the question was, should I move to DevOps? Right. Today the question is, how should I move to DevOps? Because today people have already seen the benefits. They have already realized that it makes a lot of business sense to move to DevOps and to implement DevOps practices inside their companies, because it gives you direct benefits in terms of time to market, in terms of shorter lead times, in terms of failed deployments and all those things. So you get all those important benefits almost immediately the moment you implement DevOps, right? So that is the reason the question has changed from should I move to DevOps to how should I move to DevOps. Okay. In fact, that information is also available in Puppet, that report, which is, I mean, that is a company is Puppet, which publishes that report every year. Puppet, and there is another company called DORA, DevOps Research Organization. So that is also there. Welcome, Jay. There will be cycle of requirements as a spiral. Yes, I believe, Shri Krishna, you are referring to agile model. Um, if will be there for next 5 years, if you see the report, only 20% at enterprise adopted. Uh, yeah, I mean, I don't know what you're referring to, Pramod. Pramod, I never said it's not going to last 5 years. In fact, 5 years is the bare minimum. It is going to stay for far longer. And I've not completed my answer yet. More important thing to remember is DevOps is not something which you implement and go off. It is a continuous practice. When we go through things, we'll understand more about it, and then you will be able to appreciate it. It's not something that you kind of develop the software and then go and just give it to the people and go away. It doesn't work like that. It is a continuous implementation practice. We are talking about continuous improvement here, right? So it is not a 1 day practice or a 1 month or 1 year that, okay, you keep a target, 1 quarter, 2 quarter, achieve it, move on to next one. It doesn't happen that way. Okay. So I think it was Krishna or okay, Ashwin, who asked me this question. So Ashwin, be assured, I can assure you that it is going to be there for the next 10 20 years, and probably by 20 years you will be old enough not to switch your career somewhere else. Probably you'll be thinking about retiring by then, I believe, right? Or something of your own venture. So don't worry, it is going to stay for quite some time. All right, Sakar is telling for legacy application to what are the challenges to move to? We'll talk about that. This is too early to talk about in specific challenges, Sakar. In fact, this is something you will discover yourself once we understand the tools and technologies. Sure, Sanjeev, I will take it. That I'm not sure if you joined late, I believe. This email ID I'm taking for the Slack channel. Slack is the one tool through which we will be communicating in the future as well. So yeah, thank you for sharing your email ID. Okay, so coming back to the presentation. So the idea is what what this screen wants to convey is that there is no no shortage of jobs here. There is no shortage of companies who are moving to DevOps. So you can be rest assured. In fact, I can tell you from my experience. 1 year back, I was trying to hire a couple of guys for my company, and I had to take, I believe, more than 50 or 55 interviews, and I could not select a proper candidate. So if you have proper skill set, there is no shortage of jobs for you. I mean, my LinkedIn profile, when I go to every single day, I have a couple of job openings. I have to literally, I mean, I don't know how to block in LinkedIn. I would have definitely done that if possible. Right. So don't worry. If once you know the skill sets, there is no problem with the jobs and everything for the next 5 10 years at least. Right. Okay, so the challenges what we get from waterfall model is mentioned here. So from developers perspective, you have huge waiting time for code deployment, right? Even if the code is written and it is ready to be deployed, you have to wait for a cycle because deployment engineers are typically busy. You have to wait for 1 week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks before your code is actually getting deployed into your production machines, right? Because of which, what happens if you see pressure of working on old and pending and new codes come into picture. So what happens is your code is not being deployed. You cannot sit idle, right? So you start working on new piece of code. Then let's say after 1 month, that code has been deployed and then some issue has been reported. But by then you are already on a new project. So what happens? You have the pressure of the new project as well as you have to fix the bug for the old project. Now, this kind of situation, we typically refer this as technical debt in IT. And this is something which is very important to be managed, and it is equally difficult as well. It's not easy to manage technical debt. This is one of the challenges which companies face in general. So that's from the developer's perspective. From operation side, if you see, we have problems are like difficult to maintain the uptime. You have always server maintenance is always an issue. You don't have good tools to automate infrastructure management. And servers, you have thousands of servers, right? So it's difficult to manage all of them at the same time. uh, Number of servers, when they increase, you don't have a proper mechanism to put them in the right monitoring framework. And because of all these, it's always difficult to diagnose and provide feedback on the product. You're not in a situation at all, right? So these are the problems, and the solutions, or rather the proposed solutions, how it can happen is, of course, you as a developer, you need some system where there is no waiting time. Of course, that's your ideal situation. You want a system where work is happening on current code. You are always working on one single project, right? Again, I mean, from developers perspective, that is what you want. But as if you are a manager, then you would always want your engineers to work multiple things at the same time, right? So difference in perspective. And from the operation side, you want a system which should be up and running most of the time. You want a good tool or a technology which helps you in easy system administration, and good and effective monitoring feedback system which should be established. And overall, what you need is better collaboration between the two teams. That is the most important thing which you want in an ideal situation. Okay, I think I believe you're referring to my interview example I gave you, Krishna, right? Yes, definitely. Even if not my company, you will be good to join any company. Don't worry, you will be trained enough. So yeah, so let's map the problems to what DevOps helps you in doing that, right? So for the developers' challenges, waiting time for code deployment and pressure of working on old, pending, and new code, you have this practice called continuous integration, which ensures that there is quick deployment of code, faster testing, and a speedy feedback mechanism. So because of all these, what you get is there is no waiting time. So once the code is ready, it can be deployed immediately. So that is the reason what developers can focus on building the current code, because they don't need to wait for the feedback. The feedback is continuous and immediate. So they will move on to next project only once the current one is finished. So there is no problem of this backlog kind of thing, which happens typically if you are working on legacy mode. Then from the operations side, all those problems. So for maintaining the uptime, you have containerization and virtualization solutions like Docker and other solutions, which ensure that there is a simulated environment created to run the software as containers, offer great reliability for service uptime. Basically, what it is telling you that creating the environment becomes very easy. So server provisioning and things like that, that becomes, it's a click of a button. In fact, from cloud perspective, if you see, you don't need an administrator to give you the machines. We have this concept of self-service portals, right? So if I'm a developer, or let's say if I'm a tester, I need, let's say, 5 machines to test something of a particular project. In the traditional scenario, I have to go to my VMware admin, or I have to go to my OpenStack admin, or Azure admin, and I need to ask for 5 machines or 10 machines or whatever. if I have a properly implemented DevOps approach, or the kind of cloud scenarios which you get nowadays, you don't need to go to any team. You can just go to a couple of a web page. You put in your requirement, you give the details, and after a couple of hours, or maybe half an hour, 1 hour, you get your machines up and running for you. You can create your machines automatically. You don't need any other teams or any other person's intervention, right? So that kind of solutions you get. To automate infrastructure management, you have tools like Puppet and Chef and Ansible, which are configuration management tools, which helps you to organize and execute configuration plans, consistently provision the system, and proactively manage your infrastructure for any kind of changes, any kind of configuration drift, all those sort of things. You can maintain the consistency of your environment, which is a very important thing when it comes to DevOps implementation. Because most of the times when your deployment fails, the most common reason is the inconsistent environment. The next point is number of servers to be monitored, and the diagnostic and feedback mechanism, or both of these things you can achieve through continuous monitoring. The smart tools like Nagios or Splunk or Zabbix, they give you this capability to monitor in a nice and easy manner, and administration is to a minimum. Once you set up the things, it's very less maintenance is required from all of these tools, right? And that is one of the advantages of working with the the current tools which are there in the market. This slide should be interesting to all of you. In fact, this is one of the reasons why you are here, I believe. The DevOps salaries, they are at all-time high at the moment. In fact, I have heard that DevOps engineers and professionals are getting more salaries than the developers, the agile coaches, the scrum masters. They're getting more salaries than those. These were the typical highly paid domains within IT industry. But nowadays, DevOps engineers are even higher paid. I mean, if you talk about the salary perspective, DevOps engineers, data scientists, cloud engineers, all these people are one of the highest paid in the industry at the moment. And the jobs are like anything. You don't have one or two jobs, you have tens of jobs in the market for you. Right. The example which is given here, it's a bit old, and it's only taken from California. But this trend is across the globe. No, as I said, no matter which part of the globe you belong to, you have tremendous potential, and you have great growth opportunity from as a DevOps engineer. Okay, I have a couple of questions. We will talk about containerization, Krishna. It's too early to talk about that. We will have 2 full modules on containerization and Docker. So don't worry, we'll talk about that. Containerization, basically, we are referring to Docker. Okay, so we will talk about that. ELK is, yes, one great tool, Ramesh, but that is not part of the course. But yes, it is one of the very popular tools nowadays, because it gives you a combination of things you can do within these tools. So, for example, Kibana, you can visualize. Logstash gives you the centralized log management capability like that. So you have multiple things in a single suite. And yes, this is one of the very popular suites. Does anyone use DevOps for Siebel CRM? I'm not sure, Deepak. I have heard, I mean, I'm not sure how Siebel CRM is closely, whether it is related to SAP at all. But what SAP people do, I mean, I'm talking about the SAP company, the people who are developing the SAP software. They have their own CI/CD and DevOps tools, because they also do continuous integration. They also do source code management. The only thing is, they don't use open source tools. They don't use all these enterprise and commercial tools. They have their own set of tools which they use internally. Embedded security is an advantage of for DevOps, I believe. Again, depends on what you're referring to, Jay. When we talk about security, when we talk about compliance testing, in DevOps, we have a concept called shift left. We'll talk about that in some, probably tomorrow or a day after. The idea is to start things as early as possible. For example, when do you talk about the user ID management and all those things? Once the things are done, software is delivered, or the, let's say, server provisioning is already done. And when before the server goes into production, you talk about the user management and ID management and all those things. If you implement DevOps, user management will be part of the provisioning process. So we are shifting towards the left side, towards the initial phase of the project. Similarly, when you talk about testing, the typical time when you used to do testing was once the development is complete, once the unit testing is complete. That is the time when you give that or put that into the testing boxes, and you run all sorts of integration, regression, smoke testing, and all those things. Today we have an approach called test driven development. In that, what you do, you write your test cases before you write your actual code. And what happens is, you write your test cases, then you write a piece of code and you see it fail, and your approach is to make the tests pass. You write the code in such a way that the tests have to uh, pass eventually, and you keep on making changes to your code base till the time your test is passed. That's the approach. It's a completely different approach. I mean, you can check it out in Google. Test driven development. Okay, so TDD, that's what we call that. Okay, so we have test driven development, behavior driven development. TDD is one of the most popular approaches nowadays for software development. Pramod, I would request you for to understand the ROI. I'll not answer now. My recommendation would be to go through that State of DevOps report, which I'll be sending you tonight. Okay, check out that report, and then let's have a discussion on this. Okay. No, Divya, you don't need coding experience. They were asking, do we require extensive coding experience to become DevOps engineers? See, to start with, to understand these tools, whatever we are covering inside, I mean, during our classroom sessions and all, you don't need any coding experience at all. However, in order to become a good DevOps engineer, my recommendation would be to learn at least one language. Now, it doesn't have to be a language. Basically, we're talking about scripting mostly. So, Shell script, PowerShell script, Python, Ruby, any one of them is fine. You can take your time, don't worry. Okay. So, you can do that, and but you don't have to do it immediately or before that. That is not a prerequisite for this course, but keep a target for yourself. Probably next 3 months or next 6 months, you want to learn Python, at least the basics. Again, we are not talking about you're not a developer, right? So you don't need to become a Python guru or a Java guru or a Ruby guru. You should understand enough to manipulate the codes, right? Because we're talking about a lot of automations here. When we say DevOps, we essentially are talking about automating things. So in order to automate, you need to understand scripting, right? So for example, things like defining variables, how to create a loop, how to make if-else statements, how to make cases based on different statements, while loops, do loops, defining variables, all these sort of things, which are the fundamental programming concepts I'm talking about, right? And if you put in serious effort, I think 1 month is a good enough time to understand till that level, right? So that should not be a really big problem. But again, don't worry too much about it now. And one more thing, people do ask me which language or which scripting language I should use. Let's say you have a basic understanding of Ruby or basic understanding of Shell script or PowerShell script. Then make it stronger. Work on your existing language, whichever language you're comfortable with already. Try to become better in that language rather than understanding a new language from scratch. Now, let's say you don't know any languages at all. Okay, you don't know any languages at all. Then my recommendation would be to use either Python or Ruby, because I have seen in the last maybe 1 or 2 years, Python and Ruby gaining popularity like anything, especially Python, because of the versatile, things they offer, because of the kind of rich libraries they have, because of because they can be used in pretty much any kind of platforms, right? So that is the reason they are so popular. Especially in DevOps, you'll find them a lot of usage of them later on. So it always helps to know these languages. That is not a mandatory thing. Just keep that in mind. Uh, Moreno, I have not discussed that because there is nothing to discuss. You just download that PDF file which is there. about 15 pages or 17 pages is there, and it has the instructions, with the screenshots. This particular guide I'm talking about. Okay, in fact, let me see if I have it already, or maybe just I can show it over here. Ah, okay, so I'm not able to show it now. I'm not sure if it is downloaded, but I can assure you this guide contains all the, because basically we are talking about two things. First, VirtualBox installation, and then importing the Edureka VMs. That's all you need to do, and it's pretty straightforward. There is no complication there. Okay, and as I said, we have put that in the form of a screenshots as well, so you should not face any difficulty while using it. Okay, so just do it, and if you face any difficulty, you can tell me tomorrow, or better I would suggest, because I have an agenda to cover certain things every single day, so it will be difficult if we discuss during the classroom. So my suggestion would be to contact the Edureka backend team, and they should be able to help you in this. In fact, they will be the better candidate, because I don't typically use Edureka VMs, so if there is a new problem or something, I'll not be aware of it, right? So I think Deepak is already confirmed that it's pretty easy to and very basic to use. I have Saurabh, who has joined late, I believe. So no problem, Saurabh. Um, Saurabh is from UK, software professional with an experience of 7.5 years. Expectation of this course is to empower my professional skills with DevOps concepts. Uh, Great to have you here, Saurabh, and welcome. Let me just copy your email ID so that I don't forget. I have a couple of email IDs which I was not able to put in Slack. I believe rest of the guys I have already sent the invite, and you guys have already joined Slack as well. Let me know if you face any difficulty or something. Yeah, so this is what we were talking about, right? So salaries, as I said, you need not worry about this. Just concentrate on the concepts and things which you need to learn. And once you learn things, then there is no limitation, as I said. Okay, a lot of questions. Can we cover installation of Jenkins, Gits, and Puppet? Rakesh, I typically don't cover the installation part of all these tools for two reasons. First reason is that it's very, very easy. I mean, Git is simply sudo yum install Git. If you're on Windows, then just download the exe package and double click next, next, next. That's all you need to do. Puppet and Nagios, they are a little bit difficult. Not difficult, I would say, but lengthier. They are lengthier in installation. For that, what we have done is what we have given you is, if you go to, let's say, Puppet, you will find the Puppet installation instructions given in the form of blog article, as well as in the form of video as well. So you can refer to any one of them or both of them if you want to. Why the links are not working? I'm strange. Okay. So as you can see here, how to install and all those things you have with the screenshots in a very detailed manner. Okay. So and if you do this, the reason why, because we can then go on to more productive things instead of just trying to understand how to install things, right? Because installation is just a one-time activity. We are not here for installation. Nobody's going to hire you to install Puppet or install Git and Jenkins, right? But yes, knowing is important, and for that we have given you enough material. Okay, but still, if you face any difficulty, if you still want me to show something when we are reaching that stage, let me know. I'll do that for you. I mean, because as I said, it hardly takes 5 minutes or something. In my case, I have ready scripts for installing all these things for my laptop, so it hardly takes me maybe a couple of minutes to install all these things. Moreno, it depends on you. As I said, whichever tool you are comfortable with. You can work with VMware Workstation, you can work with Azure, you can work with AWS, Vagrant, any tool you can use, whatever you are comfortable with. As I said, the requirement is to have two different machines, Linux machines with the command line, having a static IP, talking to each other. That's all we need. Yes, Mohan, I'll share that with you on Slack. Don't worry. Vagrant, I'll share one PDF file, and I have a video created and pasted, uploaded on YouTube channel as well. I'll share that link as well with you so that you can just go through and install, create your lab as well. This is for the people who are interested in Vagrant setup. From which class onwards would we need to DevOps VM to follow along in the class? Probably from tomorrow itself, Sakar, or at maximum a day after tomorrow. Tomorrow we probably should have a little bit of introduction on Git as well. So we'll finish this module and then we'll move on to Git, and then yes, that's about it. Praveen, can you please answer my question? Let me check your question. Praveen, containerization. I think I told you, right? We will cover in when we cover Docker, we will have a full 2 sessions for. Okay, so you're asking about agile and DevOps. Okay. Um, Let me see if we can do this today, or will it be better if you do it tomorrow? See, there's no difference as such. Let me see how I can explain it to you. See, DevOps you can think of as an extension of Agile. Agile primarily deals with developers and development practices. DevOps takes it one level ahead, and it takes the entire ecosystem of dev, test, and prod ecosystem, and it implements agile practices and all these feedback loops and a Scrum and all these things into the operations framework as well, so that the ops guys are also following a lot of things from the agile perspective, and they're able to achieve the same level of productivity what developers have been doing for so long, right? Mm, okay. Rakesh is asking, guys are there. As I said, Rakesh, you have all these links. So each topic has got link. So for Puppet, you go to this Puppet section, you will have link to install Puppet. For Git, you have link to install Git, like that. So we have segregated it topic wise. Okay. Yes, Balu, similarly, when you talk about Chef, you have self-paced videos. And in the first or the second video, I believe, we have this installation and configuration of Chef. So just check it out. You should you should get all the answers. I believe you're talking about this. What I'm referring here, Deepak, is this. Vagrant is one of the very popular tools nowadays. In recent times, it has gained huge popularity. This is the tool I'm talking about. This helps you create a local labs very efficiently. In fact, I use Vagrant for all the local labs on which I work. It's a very nice tool to work with. Initial learning curve, I might say it's a bit tough. I won't say tough, just a bit new. That's all. But once you get used to it, it's extremely easy and fun to use. Right. Any which was, as I said, I'll be sending you a couple of documents, and if you want to know more about it, you can just go to documentation and you can get more information on it. But before you go to documentation, I have 2 or 3 pages are there in PDF file, and I have a video which you can refer to, which will give you a lot of information with regards to Vagrant. All right, so let's complete this section because I think we are almost coming to an end. So what exactly you need to become a good DevOps engineer? So I think we discussed initially in our class that all these categories are very important to understand. And from each category, at least one tool. That's what the aim is for us to understand that, right? Because once you know one tool from the same category, learning other tool becomes very easy. So that is the main reason. Then general IT skills are very important. So networking, basics of networking, basics of virtualization, important is like DSCP, DNS, static and dynamic IP. What do you mean by VLAN? What is supernetting, subnetting, all this. So the standard concepts, how HTTP works, basics of API calls, standard Linux commands. So these are some of the things which you need to have. These are the goes without saying. But apart from the technical things, I mean, one thing I forgot, I just remembered from when I said Linux. People who are not very familiar with Linux or who are not very comfortable with Linux yet, for them there is a website called linuxjourney.com. Okay, you just go to this website and just brush up yourself. It is in a very nice and easy manner. It has been laid out. You have a lot of information. It has got multiple sections: Grasshopper, then Journeyman, then Networking Nomad, and all. What you can do is you can just complete this first section, these 8 slides or 8 tiles. If you complete, you should have a decent understanding of Linux. This is for the people who are not comfortable with Linux at all. Okay, if you have basic understanding, then you can ignore this. Let me just put this link on Slack as well. Okay, looks like Divya was asking me this question on Slack. Guys, one important thing to remember, one more thing which I want to tell you now. Slack, we will be communicating only offline. During the class, we are not communicating on Slack, we are communicating on the GoToWebinar tool. Okay, today is the first thing because I had to add all of you in this link. So that is the reason I have opened Slack. Typically, I keep Slack closed during the classroom sessions. Okay. Yes, you're correct, Praveen, when you say you interact with operations as well, but that is very limited. You don't go into operations shoes and work with them. You don't do that. There is very limited interaction with operations, just to the extent of maybe maybe you call them in a Scrum meeting or something to understand the requirement, or maybe to make them understand your requirement. It's limited to that. But in DevOps, we do much more beyond that, right? What is a real value addition, value proposition of DevOps compared to Agile? As I said, Agile is limited to uh, developers and to some extent to the testing framework. You don't go beyond testing. You don't manage machines in production environment. You don't deploy softwares through Agile. You don't monitor your infrastructure through Agile. You don't do all these things. These are typical operations framework which people follow, which do that. DevOps let you do all those things, which are typically known as the domain of the operations folks. In fact, let me show you one good slide. This one actually I'll share with you as well. Just give me a sec. All right, so if you see this picture, the blue side, the blue circle, typically refers to the agile feedback loop. If you see here, plan, code, build, test, and release. This is your typical agile feedback loop. And if you talk about deployment, if you talk about operations, if you talk about monitoring, all these things are not in the domain of a developer or even a tester. This is something which is typically done by the admin guys, the server admins. When I say admins, I'm just generalizing all the people who are doing storage administration, network administration, server administration, anybody and all the people. When I say ops or operations, basically we refer to the set of people or set of technical folks or engineers who are helping me keeping the data center up and running, right? So those are typically the operations folks we're talking about. Whereas, so what happens is when you implement, if you talk about the blue circle or the blue loop, this is the typical agile feedback loop. But when you implement DevOps, the domain of operations guys, the deploy, operate, monitor, this also comes under this loop. It becomes one big infinite loop, and all these things become the job of one single team, Okay, one important thing, in fact, since you are so interested in agile, what I would suggest is you read about something called, just go ahead and take a look at, just search for this term and read about it. Two pizza teams. Okay, and let me know what you have got tomorrow. Then we'll discuss more about it. Okay, where's the share for the document to install the virtual machine? It's there on the Edureka portal, Moreno. When you log in to your Edureka LMS, you go to, you reach this page. This is typically the page which welcomes you, right? You go to course content and go to the first link here. You have all these modules are there, 1, 2, 3, 4. Before one, you have this link, and this one talks about VM installation guide. You can download, and then you can follow along with it. Does it clarify your doubt? Welcome. Okay. Okay, I have a question from Jay. By the way, what we will do, guys, I will not cover anything new. We'll stop it here, and I think we are good to stop. Yeah, one important thing I want to convey is that this one, when we talk about the skill sets, apart from the technical skill set, your tools and technologies and networking and internet and everything, the PR skills, your presentation skills, your people skills, that is of paramount importance, because as a DevOps engineers, you're supposed to break silos. You're supposed to bring that, you're supposed to fill the gap between different teams. You're supposed to bridge the gap between all these teams. In fact, what happens is when you talk about DevOps nowadays, it's always a very high visibility project. So what happens, you'll find that it's not your manager who is driving this. It's your manager's manager, maybe a director or a VP or somebody who's driving. So when you're talking to those people, you need to understand, you need to be in a very good position to explain things to them, and you need to have good presentation skills. So it becomes really important if you need to have good communication and presentation skills. So, and if you, that is one of the real deal breakers if you don't know this, if you don't have good communication skills, no matter how good you are technologically, right? So if that is something which you lack, make sure you work on it. Okay, that's the bare minimum which you need to do. So having said that, we have completed till here. So tomorrow we will start with okay, I mean, I wanted you to check out this question to try it, but it's still no problem. Tomorrow onwards, we'll start with this slide number 23, need of DevOps and DevOps general definitions and things like that. So we'll go into individual concepts of DevOps we'll talk about tomorrow onwards. Right. So it's already 10:35, 5 minutes past. I'll just take up the questions which you have asked, and then we will wind up. People who want to leave, they can leave now, no problem. Okay. And if you have any questions, just post it and I will take it up. So yeah, the question I was talking about is from Jay. In a DevOps implemented environment, is there just one DevOps team, or operations team and development teams exist in the traditional way? Now that actually varies from team to team, Jay, or company to company. In companies like Netflix and Google and Amazon and Etsy, there is nobody called DevOps engineer. Okay, there is no designation of DevOps engineer. Okay, what they have, I mean, in recent times they have actually, but earlier they did not have this. They had people who were managing things. They had system engineers, they had system analysts, they had software engineers, and they had to do all the tasks. And in fact, for this question, for you also, when you read about two pizza teams, that is a very important concept. That gives you a lot of understanding or a lot of insights into how DevOps teams are designed and they work. So, but again, that is about the some of the pioneers and some of the companies who are like right at the top. Now, if you talk about the average companies, you do have DevOps teams separate, and you do have development teams as well. You do have operations teams as well. You have DB team, networking team, all these things are there. And you have a new team called DevOps teams now. In some cases, what they do is they have all the existing teams. Within operations team, they they put 2 or 3 DevOps engineers or automation engineers who help doing things, who help automate things on a daily basis. So varies from company to company. How they do it, it varies. Anything to do, as in, I mean, is it some homework you're asking, Deepak, or some task? If that is what you're asking, then just go through the blog articles which are there on your Edureka LMS. Just go through them as much as possible. And I've given you a couple of keywords. I'll be sending you a couple of more keywords through Slack. Read about them. I'll give you enough, as you say, food for thought. Don't worry. All right. So, any other questions, guys? I hope you had a good session today. As I said today, no practicals or no tool specific. Tomorrow onwards, probably we'll be starting with Git, and then we will talk about the hands-on demo and things like that. So today it was out and out discussion and concept building and those sort of things. Let me know if you have any concerns, any questions, anything. All right. Thank you, Deepak. Bye. Thank you, Jay. All right, guys. So it looks like no further questions. So it was good interacting with you. Expect a couple of things from me on Slack. The people who I was not able to add, I will make sure I'll add them as well. And yeah, please go ahead and have a good day and good evening ahead. See you tomorrow at the same time. Thank you.